Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and this is a sort of tying up loose ends video here where I finish up things that weren't finished or correct things that needed correcting. And we're going to go through 2 or 3 different things. We're going to put wheels on the cabinet. We're going to put a speed indicator on the little mill on the power spindle feed, and we're going to show how the legs are going to work on the plasma table when we get down to really having it in service. And I know that some of you guys probably wondering, well, when are you going to get to work on this plasma table? Well, I'm doing a little bit along as I can. The problem here is that even though I've spent hundreds of dollars on motors and motor controllers and software and controller boards and things like that, I still got a whole lot of material to go yet. I need some 80/20 for the tracks to run on, you know, for the little wheels to run on, to move the carriage around where it's going to go. And I need some ball screws and things like that. And that stuff's not cheap, so I gotta wait until I earn a little more money. And I've kind of got a bunch of stuff on the credit card already, so the boss lady's watching me like a hawk. And I hadn't sold a t-shirt in at least a month, and only, you know, just a very few coffee cups, so that's not panning out. the Teespring thing isn't making me wealthy. In fact, it's not paying me much of anything right now, or if anything at all. So like I say, we're going to have to wait until the money comes in so I can buy the parts to put the pieces on. Alright? Now, once we actually get everything accumulated, it ought to go a little bit faster. But in the meantime, we got to wait. And I'll do other projects while I'm accumulating money. Now, there's one thing that may slow it down even more. Is I located a couple of Bridgeports that are going to be on an auction. And I'm going to bid on it, and so I mean, if I get a Bridgeport, buying it and moving it over here is going to delay the plasma table even longer. Sometimes, you know, things just take a long time, and we're going to get there as long as you guys don't give up. You know, I'm still going to be plugging away at it. I don't know if y'all are. And yesterday was 22 Fun Sunday. That happens every 5th Sunday, which is about every 4 months, you know. That is every 5th Sunday when a month has 5 Sundays. That much probably clearer. And I had a good time. I went out there and I did good with my rifle, even though I was totally unprepared. I hadn't cleaned the thing. Yeah, I had been to 2 of these shooting matches with it and I hadn't cleaned it. And when I got there, I put too many rounds in the magazine, so one of them was down and the thing wouldn't feed when I got it for my first shot. And so the guy standing said, well, why don't you change it for another magazine? So I whipped that out and put another one in, and I was shooting against the lady, and she had already got 4 targets up on me but lucky me, her gun jammed, and I got ahead of her, and I didn't lose any of the times up shooting with a rifle, although the same lady came back and beat me with the pistol. It's always bad when you have to admit you was beat by a girl, you know. But there you go. Anyway, I had a lot of fun, and I didn't freeze to death. It was 50 degrees all day long out there. I didn't like that a lot, but what the heck, at least it was windy. Let's get on with the project. Well, this is another one of those loose ends. I need a speed indicator on there so that I can know, you know, I can look and say, well, that's just about the right speed. It's cutting really good, you know, if I was using it for boring or drilling or something. But right now I don't know how fast that is. So I'm going to put a little speed indicator down here. It's been a while since I messed with this, and this screen is kind of weird in that the X and Y coordinates are one way for the graphics and another direction for the text. So I'll have to get logged into the thing and place something on the screen and then move it around. Because I don't remember exactly which way was which. You'd think I would, but hey, I'm an old geezer, huh? So what we'll do is we'll just crank up the Arduino editor and get after it. Now I'm not going to show you editing the code. I'll just show you little places where I put things and what happens. I hate watching somebody else's Arduino code, so I'm not going to show it in my video either. Now you see the little red box to the bottom left side there. I can print the speed in there, but if I do, it slows the program execution down something awful. Really slows it down a bunch. So I'm thinking the Arduino is just not right for this. It's not fast enough a processor to actually put a changing updated number on the screen every scan. So I'm gonna have to dig through this some, go online and see just what other people have done. I'm going to try to use a few decisions to only print there when it changes, which is still going to slow it down, you know, when it prints. I'm going to play with it a while, but it doesn't look like I'm going to have success. The little processor is just too small and too slow. Alright, the little Arduino doesn't have the horsepower to print to the screen constantly, but if I print to the screen only when I change things, well then it does pretty good. I can slow the speed down by making large changes, and I have to change the scale that I'm printing to the screen because it you know, it's from 0 to 1290, and that's confusing. But if I only print to the screen when I make a change, it doesn't slow the thing down much, and I don't have to make as many changes to the speed if I make each speed change a large increment. So I'm going to play with that a little bit and see if that works out. Alright, I think I've got it as far down as I can go without worrying about crushing the guts out of the indicator. And I'm going to set it for the fastest speed, and I'm going to start going up and see what I get in 1 minute. Of course I could go for 30 seconds, but I don't even have to do any math if I go for a whole minute. Well, not as much math. Alright, ready, set, go. Okay, the dog's barking. That was 13, I think. That's the way I counted it. 13 turns. 1 inch, 300 thousandths in a minute. So, I'll have to calculate that and see if I can make something out of it. Okay, so I've got it on the slowest speed now, and we'll see in a minute how far it goes. Who knows how far? Alright, the dog was barking, so I had to stop. Well, that looked like about 280 thousandths in a minute. So, I guess that's probably reasonably good. Wouldn't you think so? I'm going to stop there, probably. I'm going to play with it a couple minutes off camera, and if I make any changes, I'll let you know. Looks like I can get rid of the reflection from the screen by moving the camera over to one side here. So, nevertheless, we have it set for the slowest speed, which I figure is 4 thousandths per second. You guys that saw it move and watch the dial, you can decide for yourself, you know, what the math is on it. But anyway, that's what I think, and I think when I've got it on the highest speed, it goes 1.3 inches in a minute. So I don't know how much that is per second. I didn't calculate that, but I'm going to leave it like this until further notice, and I'm going to speed it up here. You can see that it speeds up in large steps. I can't make it go to exactly 99 and 100. Have to fiddle the numbers again a little bit, but 99 is close enough to 100%. This is close enough for me. And let me back it off, and you can see that's trucking on pretty good. So I think I'm going to leave it like this for a while and call this one loose end tied up. Among the things that a person does to make a small shop work out like a big shop is putting wheels on things so you can roll them out in the middle of the floor and use them as if they were in the middle of a big shop. And that's about everything in here has got wheels on it, except for that one cabinet right there. And I went down to Harbor Freight, and they had these little furniture dollies for $7.77 or something like that, and they were rated at 1,000 pounds. You can't buy the wheels for $7. So I thought, well, will this thing do the job? It pretty much will. I mean, from front to back, it's the right size. It just needs to be made a little bit wider. So to make it wider, I'll cut this little booger on those two spots, slide it out a little bit, screw a piece of wood underneath there to restore them to be in one piece, kinda, and then it'll fit. So I guess what we're going to do here is I'm going to turn off the camera and go get my saw and everything and a couple of pieces of extra wood, and we're going to just slice the thing open. We're going to do wood surgery. Alright, so I've marked this guy in the center, this guy in the center, this guy in the center. All of them are going to get cut in half, and pieces from here are stuck into there. Now I know this piece is wider than what's in there. When you're using leftovers, they're not always perfect. Heck, the ends of this thing didn't even get cut straight the last time it was cut. You can see light through there. But it's going to be on the bottom. Nobody can see it down there unless they're really small and land on the floor, which I wouldn't advise. The floor's dirty in here. Saw time. The bandsaw is coming out of retirement for this job. I don't want to cut wood on the Evolution. I'm sure it'd cut wood as good as it did everything else, but I don't want to take a chance on messing up the blade. Wait till I get more knowledgeable. pretty nice curve there. Look at that, huh? Nice curve. I don't know what you guys can see there. Turn a little viewfinder around. Anyway, you can see. But like I said, it's going to be on the bottom. This is the last time you'll get to see it. Knocked the stupid blade off, which is why I hate the band sander. Blades back on. Finished the last little 1-inch part of the cut. Maybe. I have a feeling the Evolution saw is going to be the wood cutting saw out here too. That was too annoying. No matter what I go to do, the batteries are always down, and I always don't have exactly the right stuff to do what I want to do. Yeah, I like to drill pilot holes. That way you don't break the wood so fast. You have to get more creative to break it. Alright, it's more of this, both ends. I'll wake you up when they got it. Okay, there we are. And for those of you who were bet that I was going to screw it to the top, I didn't. And I've got wheels on it, and it moves. Unfortunately, none of the wheels have brakes on. But who knows what I'll come across with a couple of wheels that size with brakes on them, and I'll just swap them out later. You know, when it's free or almost free. Well, someone bought these for a backyard project, putting up lattice work, and sure enough, they couldn't use them. So I was given a couple of bags of them. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, except maybe I'll put them in the lathe and make something out of them, you know, smaller, use them like bar stock. Seems like Bubba's got an Uncle Earl. I can't account for the name. His name's Earl. But anyway, so Earl was a farmer, you know, had a big old farm out, you know, outside of town, pretty good ways. And this feed salesman was out, you know, driving down the road looking for customers. He come driving along, saw a bunch of pigs out there, and he pulled up and stopped, looked over the fence. There was one of those pigs running around with a wooden leg, you know, like a pirate, you know, peg leg there. And he said, well, I wonder what that is. She says, I'm going to go up there to that ranch, farmhouse, see if I can find out about this. So he drove up there, and Uncle Earl come out and told him, he said, hey, he said, I don't need no feed. He said, I'm growing all I need. And the salesman says, well, he says, really, he says, I come in here to ask you about that pig out there with the peg leg. And Earl says, oh, he says, that there's a special pig. He says, you know, that there pig, one night the barn caught on fire. He says, that pig pushed open 2 gates and run all the animals out of there. Saved every one of them. He says, and then this last spring, he says, I was down, plowing in the river bottom down there, and I rolled the tractor over on top of me. He says, I couldn't get out. I was pinned down. He said the wife was going off to visit her sister for 2 or 3 weeks, and he said, I'd have laid there till it died if that hog hadn't come along. And he come along there and rooted all the dirt around me so I could get some, get the pressure off and crawl out of there. He says, that hog saved my life. And Seldom says, well, he says, I can see why you'd value that hog a lot. He says, he says, that's certainly a remarkable peg there. He says, but what about that peg leg? Uncle Earl looks at him and says, hey, he says, when you got a pig that good, you don't just butcher him all at one time. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.